Howdy, I'm Jacob. You're watching the Prepper's Bunker Outdoors. It's time to talk about Kel-Tec 2.0. This will be, Lord willing, the final episode in the Ultimate Chad series. Chad sent me another email after I posted the last video yesterday, I think. And so, he instructed me in the first line, read this to your viewers and post it to your social media exactly how it reads. So my first thought was like, this douchebag still thinks that he's going to run my channel. Like, he thinks he's that important that he's still in control of the situation. He's still whatever. And so I'm just going to go through his email, highlight all of the places that he was wrong, and send it back to him. But the reason I'm not going to do that is because he already knows the truth, because he's one of the people that this happened between. He's already manipulated it, as you'll see in this email, and there's no use in reiterating the truth to him because he's a manipulator and a liar. So instead, I'm actually going to do him diligence, and I'm going to read through this whole email. I'm going to do it without commentary first, read through the whole thing. And again, if you think I'm a dickhead, call me a dickhead. That's fine. I'm not going to hide anything I said, and I'm going to let you know what I think at the end. We're going to take this apart from a scholarly perspective. There's a lot of little nuggets of wonderful in here. So I had sent him an email yesterday right before I posted the video and said, would you like to add anything else to today's video, or is this enough? I got his response today, and I will now read it to you. Yes. Read this to your viewers and post it to your social media exactly how it reads. I'm not going to go back and forth with you on this because it's really just a waste of everyone's time at this point, you're clearly picking a fight for clickbait. However, I will leave you and your followers with this. I very clearly asked you if you had an RDB or any experience with an RDB after you told someone in the comments that you would never suggest an RDB to anyone. I even asked you why you said you would never suggest someone buy an RDB. You answered by explaining to me that the AR-15 is the best platform for a combat rifle. You never gave anyone an educated opinion based on your personal experience with an RDB. Instead, you resorted to name-calling and gross insults. Anyone with any integrity would find that to be completely unprofessional. But maybe being unprofessional is your thing. You have every right to conduct your business as you see fit. Unfortunately for you, I don't work with unprofessional people. That pissed you off. There's nothing I can do about that. If you think this is the first time I've had to defend myself against slander, think again. Calling the representative of a major manufacturer a D**K-head is not the brightest idea if your goal is to create relationships. I know children with a higher level of respect, appreciation, and maturity. You're a grown man. Act like one if you want to be respected by people with integrity. If not, carry on. I gave you plenty of opportunity to take a step back, adjust your attitude, and start over with me. You chose poorly, regardless of YouTube, gun reviews, social media, or products. You decided to take a personal route with the insults. That's not acceptable. You have the freedom to besmirch me and my company, but all that will do is further show your poor character. You may gain a few cheerleaders along the way, but at the end of the day, what's it worth? Social media clicks? That's worthless in the grand scheme of things. Long after you've forgotten about this and long after your channel has gone away, we will still be manufacturing products, hiring veterans, providing American jobs and benefits to over 300 people, in building positive, lasting relationships with people in and outside of our industry. As always, I wish you only the best. Take care. Chad. So, Chad, I'm going to break this down for whoever is interested in, and I'm going to hit it chronologically in the order in which it was written. The whole email you've already seen. Probably that whole time I was reading it, I would have posted it on the screen here, so you can see that as close as I could get, word for word, everything that I said is exactly what was in his email. Also, if you want to see the entire discussion, every comment and every email, it's in the last video that I did on this dude, and we'll post a link to that right here. Literally everything that I have said and that he has said. Things that I could have said better, things that I could have worded better, things that could have made me look more professional, things that could have made him look like a bigger piece of trash. Of all the ways that I screwed it up, you'll see it. Chad doesn't have that kind of integrity. But, so I want to start with read this to your viewers and post it to your social media exactly how it reads. So Chad has no platform to spread a message. All he can do is slander, backdoor blacklist, and be the little snake that he is, but he has no way. His account is private, probably for this reason. He has no way to get a message out. He cares enough to continue to go back and forth, but he has no way to get an actual message out. And to actually help Chad, beneficial to you, douchebag, you never punch down. So Chad is representing Keltec. Keltec in the gun community is a family name. That means that if you have a bunch of gun people or a gun family, the chances are everybody in the family knows what Keltec is. Nobody knows what the Preppers Bunker Outdoors is. I am literally an unprofessional, grassroots, sole individual making videos online with 20,000 subscribers who is not going to change a doggone thing for any manufacturer or manufacturer representative. Because that's what YouTube should be. That's what I believe. That's what I believe all of YouTube should be. I believe that's what all of YouTube used to be, and it's not what YouTube is now. And what Chad is saying is that he would work with me, and he thinks it would benefit me to be the same as every other YouTube reviewer that works with him. So that probably should say something about the YouTube reviewers that work with Keltec. Continuing. The next thing that he said that I want to point out is he said, I'm clearly picking a fight for clickbait. So this is going to be something that's said often, and I really don't care. However, I will say that if I wanted to make a clickbait video, which people use clickbait in a negative context, the way that every successful YouTube channel gets successful is by using good tags, a good thumbnail that makes people want to click on it, and good titles. It's literally why professional channels exist. So people will use it in a negative context when they want to, but if you look for advice on how to grow your channel, it is through the professional use of clickbait. And if I wanted to make this video clickbait, I probably would have said something more like, Keltec frickin' sucks and failed at the Iraq Veteran 8888 machine gun shoot, and posted a picture of Chad with a dick on his forehead. Or something like that. People would have clicked that. There are enough people that hate Keltec that the harder that I ram on them, the more people would watch the video, and ultimately the more money I would make, the more followers I would get, the more sales that I would get on my website. I'm not necessarily interested in doing that, and you'll notice my last video was titled something along the lines of my poor or my negative experience with Keltec and Chad, or whatever. That is not something that really attracts attention. The people who follow me will be interested in my poor experience with somebody linked to a manufacturer, but I'm not overtly taking a crap on them. All right, I talked about that too long. Next. After you told someone in the comments that you would never suggest an RDB to anyone, I even asked you why, you said you would never suggest someone buy an RDB. You'll notice I never suggested that nobody should ever buy an RDB. What he is doing here, it's a form of manipulation. He is using emotionally charged language. This is all psychology. And when people are manipulative, they want to change the order that things were said, and they want to emotionally charge the words that were said to get a more visceral reaction. As you will see here, when someone asked, would you recommend an RDB to anyone? So there is that anyone there. I simply said no. I didn't say never. I didn't say a bunch of other things. Then Chad asked me why not. He didn't say why I would never suggest. He didn't say whatever. He said why not. I said if someone asks me, if I capitalized me, if I recommend a fighting rifle, not a combat rifle, it's different, he doesn't realize that. If I recommend a fighting rifle, knowing that my perspective as it comes to a fighting rifle has to be based on practicality, no firearm design available today can compete with the reliability, modularity, simplicity, accuracy, availability, and price of an AR-15. Now, what I did there, in my opinion, is very professional. And I'm not going to talk about Keltec firearms and their reputation in this video, at least maybe not till the end if I get pissed off. But what I did there was I didn't share what I know about the Keltec RDB from friends and acquaintances who run them in classes. I didn't say anything about the RDB. I said that nothing, not the doggone SCAR, in my opinion, not an AK, not the RDB, not a doggone, whatever. Nothing. Mini 14, it doesn't matter. Nothing compares with the reliability, modularity, simplicity, accuracy, availability, and price of an AR-15. That is why I do not recommend an RDB. That recommendation is based, and again, when I said if someone asks me, it's because they're a subscriber to me and they know me. So what I'm saying here is I'm a combat vet, got my CIB, shot at people in Afghanistan. I've been to, as an infantryman, an airborne infantryman, okay, I've competed in the Army with firearms, got a doggone RCOM for it, for Week of the Eagles competition. And, you know, I have a gold shoots and snare. I qualified as an expert on all of the Germans' firearms. And I have hundreds of hours of professional private training after the military. So when someone asks me, the guy who does a prepper channel that is creating a message specifically to a Christian regular guy audience, but more broadly to preppers on a budget, this is what we are looking for. Reliability, modularity, simplicity, accuracy, availability, and price, and no fighting rifle competes with that. So he said combat rifle. He might define combat rifle as something, whatever it is, it's stupid. You can have an assault rifle, you can have a fighting rifle, and you can have a battle rifle. So whatever fantasy space gun Keltec thinks a combat rifle is, I don't know what he's talking about, but it's stupid. So after I said that, then he asked me about my personal experience with the RDB. So he switched those two around to make it look like in his email that he asked me specific questions about the RDB. He did not. He asked me, why wouldn't I suggest the RDB to anyone? And in my response, in framing my channel and the way that I do things in my answer, I said that because if someone asks me if someone should buy an RDB, this is what it's based on. Probably beat that like a dead horse. We're at 15 minutes. I don't care. Okay, so then he goes on to say, instead you resorted to name-calling and gross insults. Anyone with integrity would find that to be completely unprofessional. My response to him was, clearly your butt is too hurt to understand what I'm saying. Hit me up when you get some balm for that. That's not a... it's not name-calling. It's not a gross insult. If you can't handle someone telling you that you're being butthurt, it's because you're a man-child. Get over yourself. In fact, by telling him you're too butthurt to understand what I said, hit me up when you get some balm for that. I'm a soldier. I mean, maybe he's, I don't know his background. Maybe he's some little snowflake civilian that's out there, you know, playing soldier on his free time for fun, and he doesn't really get it. But what I'm saying here is you didn't understand my answer because your feelings are hurt. Give it a little bit of time. You will understand my answer, and then we can have a discussion. All right. I don't work with unprofessional people. That pisses you off. Again, with the punching down, anybody who's professional would not have even continued this discussion, and a professional would have taken my answer and made a productive conversation out of it instead of devaluing my answer and ignoring it entirely. So there's that. What pissed me off is that he's a dickhead. Calling the representative of a major manufacturer a D** K head is not the brightest idea if your goal is to create relationships. So check this out. We'll talk about this again a little bit later. He wants to be so professional that he's not going to write out the word dickhead. I don't know if it's professional or childish, because he has no problems being manipulative, being selfish, being just freaking soft AF. Just soft. But we'll get back to that. You're a grown, let's see, I know children with a high level of respect, appreciation, and maturity. So he's too professional to say dickhead, but he's not too professional to throw any other insults or to manipulate people to get what he wants. He's not too professional while being the representative of a manufacturer to act incredibly unprofessional, which means he's not really worried about saying the word dickhead because he's a professional. It's because he's a child. I gave you plenty of opportunity to take a step back, adjust your attitude, and start over with me. Actually, I'm the only person who gave that opportunity. The only person. Personal route with insults again. So this is what people who manipulate you do. They're going to manipulate what you say. They're going to be passive aggressive. They're going to allude to a bunch of stuff because what they want is plausible deniability. It's what their whole persona is based on, is how to be an asshole and be able to make excuses to get away with it. They think that they're being smart. Talk about that again later. All right, so to finish it off, long after you've forgotten about this and long after your channel has gone away, we will still be manufacturing products, and he's trying to work on people's emotional crap again by talking about hiring veterans, etc. You don't care about veterans. You went out of your way to manipulate and take a shit on one here. It's not exactly going the way that you wanted. Your feelings are hurt. That's okay. I will not forget about it. So maybe Kel-Tec will exist after I've died, but I guarantee you I do not forget anything, even things much smaller than this when I know somebody, which I do now know you, Chad. As always, I wish you only the best. Textbook sociopath or psychopath. Just to get into the educated side of things again, being that I am an educated man, a psychopath cannot be empathetic with another person's position. They manipulate other people to get what they want, and they do not care. They have no regrets. The difference between a psychopath and a sociopath is a sociopath learns this behavior. It's an environmental thing for a sociopath, but they're not born this way. They weren't born broken, they became broken. And this is how psychopaths and sociopaths will manipulate you. Chad Enos is a psychopath or a sociopath. I knew it very early in this discussion, not just because of my education, not just because of my work with the military, military intelligence, etc., but also because I've been doing this YouTube channel for like 5 years, and patterns repeat. Everybody wants to say they're an individual, but I see the exact same pattern, not tens of times, not hundreds of times, but thousands of times. Which is why typically when a subscriber starts talking this kind of crap, I will very quickly say, they'll say I unsubscribe, whatever. I love it when the trash takes itself out. Now, I will say that a lot of my biggest supporters on this channel started off as trolls. My most regular commenters, patrons, friends started off on trolls. They don't like something that I said or the way that I said it, understandably, because I know that I give a message in a way that does not sound like I'm giving any room for personal error. And contrary to the way that looks, I have eaten crow on this channel. I don't mind being wrong. In fact, the easiest way for me to learn a lesson is to learn through someone's comment that I am wrong. And I've done entire videos admitting that I was wrong about things before. So, understandably, I attract trolls. However, I have learned the difference for the most part between a troll, but there is some degree of value there, and just an absolutely worthless dirtbag. And, at this point, I would say that's what Chad Enos is. Also, one of the original commenter who asked, would you recommend the RDB to anyone? I actually didn't screenshot this. I don't have his comment to read. He re-commented, and I'm pretty sure, I'm not positive, I'm pretty sure that I answered Chad Enos's question in a way that he understood and liked, and he said that Chad Enos is a douchebag. I could be 100% wrong, and this little thing that I'm showing you right here is just laughing at me right now. I don't care if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure. I'm still going to keep his name out of it, although at this point I don't know if it matters, because all of this is still up on YouTube, and you can go onto YouTube and find all of it, every single comment. So I don't know, if there's any reason to keep commenters' names anonymous, because they're not anonymous, but whatever. So, I said in my last video that everybody has bad days sometimes. It's really not a big deal. I've bro-hugged it out with douchebags before. I'm not opposed to it. But at this point, I do have to say that the only way that I'm going most likely to review Kel-Tec products is for Kel-Tec to send me a message saying, we fired that douchebag, sorry. Honestly, it sounds like this happens a lot, and I actually know some industry people that you know too that he's already done this to. I've since this has started, a few people have reached out to me and been like, yeah, that dude's a douchebag. That happened to this, and this channel. Person, entity, whatever. So basically, I still hope that that last part that Chad said was correct. Keltec as it exists right now does not really deserve to continue existing. They have great designs. I say great designs. I shouldn't. I'm not an engineer. They have unique designs that are most likely ahead of their time, and if they were executed properly, could probably be game changers. The problem is, as far as I can tell from the sources that I absolutely trust, look in the comments section here in the last video, you'll see plenty of people's firsthand experience from classes that they don't have or they don't value the time and money that it takes to get the quality to that level. Maybe their price point that someone has told them they need to hit is too low to make that happen. Maybe they're afraid if they hit too high of a price point they couldn't afford to continue to exist. I don't know what necessarily the cause is. Maybe they just don't care. Maybe they want to make gimmicks that people who don't know any better want to buy into, and they know that 90% of them will never run their guns hard enough to find out. Maybe there is a an actual bad reason behind all of this, but maybe not. But what I would like, I'm getting off topic, what I would like to see is for Keltec to take these designs, to find a way to get reliability, longevity, and availability to where they need to be, and to become successful. I would rather see Keltec become successful than Colt, Smith & Wesson, Ruger, who else? I'm sure there's some other companies, but not because I hate those companies. All of them have done something that I don't like. That doesn't matter. But what I'm saying is they all play too safe of a game with their designs and their products, which is probably part of why they're a big company, right? But that's not the kind of game that I like to get behind. I like to put my weight behind the underdog. I like to invest in the underdog, to put my bets down on the underdog, and the innovator. I love the innovator and the engineer, even though the engineer usually needs a little bit of help to not do something stupid. I'm not going to even talk about that right now. But anyways, company that makes affordable, completely different, and most of their designs are not actually completely different. Most of them are based on, I believe, South African designs that are completely different. But Keltec, as far as I understand it, didn't just go, boom, we're going to do this thing so it's completely weird. They were like, boom, this designer does stuff that is really weird and has these key good traits, and let's try to be the company that makes them, as I understand it. However, I like that they do that. Even if it's not their brain children, I'm still on board. So I want Keltec to succeed. Now, the difference is I actually want Keltec to succeed, which is why I'm trying to be, someone's going to think that I'm just being a raw dickhead. I'm actually trying to be tactful in this when it comes to Keltec's reputation as it's separated from Chad. When it comes to their quality and everything else, I'm actually tiptoeing a lot more than my average subscriber, follower, or viewer will understand. But the other thing is, a lot of you will understand how careful I'm trying to be with that too. But I actually do want them to succeed, and that's where me and Chad are different. Because I'm going to be honest with you and call a dickhead when they're a dickhead. And, you know, if we want to hash it out later or hug it out later, that's cool too. But I'm going to tell it how it is. But when I say things, I actually mean them. Chad is going to be a manipulative douchebag. He's going to try and control people, tell someone what to do with their channel, hold a carrot in front of them, change what they said, emotionally charge it, reorganize it, and then say, I wish you only the best, buddy. So, yeah, I wish Kel-Tec the best, which includes firing Chad. Will they do it? No, because I'm sure the people that are buddies with Chad, which is why he has the job, probably not because of his demonstrated competence as a marketing dude. You know, everything's about who you know. Let's be real. So probably won't happen. But it'd be smart if it did. And Kel-Tec, if you decide to do that, and you're like, hey, we want to like do things a little bit differently, and we just had our budget open up a little bit. Weird. Let's send some guns to Jake at the Preppers Bunker Outdoors so that he can go run them at Tactical Response, or with John Lovell, or with Sonny, or with freaking Craig Douglas, or whatever, and show that we're freaking gonna do some things different here. By all means, let's rock and roll. This pisses me off because I know that there's some really good stuff that I should have said that I'll forget until later. I know that I wasted time on a lot of stuff that was unnecessary. And I know that every time I do one of these videos, if I could be more organized in my mind and more professional, that I could really knock the video out of the park. If I took the time to really edit these videos, get some awesome quality. If I made this whole video into a meme, I could have the entire gun culture, gun community laughing, and it would probably have an impact. Kel-Tec might actually see that I could do it good enough if I was professional enough to have an impact. Instead, I don't. But this is what I do. I'm going to continue to keep it real, tell the truth, and some people's feelings will get hurt. And some people's feelings will get hurt, but then they'll realize that even if it was detrimental to myself, I still told the truth, and they'll appreciate that. And they'll become subscribers, and we'll become buddies. This channel will stay small. I'll never hit 100,000 subs. It is what it is. But if I did get big and I did hit 100,000 subs, I'd have to start watching what I'm saying, or I'd get freaking kicked off of YouTube. So, you know, for my subscribers, if you wonder why I'm okay with staying small for so long and doing what I do, I would like to be successful, sure, but part of it is I also like to slide under the radar. The bigger you are, the harder it is to do. This might be one of the longest talking videos I've ever done. Chad, I hope you can stop being a manipulative dickhead. I am terrified, if you have a family, of what that relationship is like. I don't think you do, because you're a freaking psychopath.